All right, so it is 7:03 and we have 14 participants. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank you for finding the new link, because things went haywire a little bit. And so we had to quickly send a new link this afternoon. I had some sweat purling on my forehead because I thought if Joy or Megan don't get this, then we'd be in real trouble. The poor people would have to listen just to Mirza and me, but we have some guests. Absolutely. So Megan, let me ask you a question. Do you have a few slides from CAST? Were you at CAST?
I do, yeah. Maybe, do you want me to show it right away, or how do we?
Well, let's go. Let Joy go first, because for her it's almost midnight. And for you it's only 6 o'clock. Yes. So you're fresher than she is. So we have a wave from Joanne. Hello, Joanne. Waving back. All right. So we have with us tonight. First of all, the disclaimer. At the Greenhouse Chat, we may be recommending certain things. We may be talking about certain products, but the AGGA and the Greenhouse Chat are not associated with any products or with any companies. So we do this out of the goodness of our heart. You have to take the information that we give and use it to the best of your knowledge. And we hope that what we talk about is helpful, and that it may steer you in the right direction. But do use caution. Do use the product recommended labels. Do talk to your salespeople who are much more in tune with the particular products. So we have no trouble recommending certain things, but we certainly don't want anybody to end up in any trouble. Having said that, having read the fine print, it gives me great joy to introduce Joy Keeler. Joy is with a company called Danziger. Danziger is an Israeli company, and she is the product rep for Canada. She's in Ontario, and she's going to talk to us about what Dooman has. So I am going
Danziger. Danziger, not Dooman.
Did I say Dooman?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Danziger. Let me fix that. It's Danziger from Israel. All right. So Mirza taught me how to make to allow people to share the screen.
Go to participant, and hit that sign there.
Yeah.
And
upward arrow on the right. Where is Joy? There is Joy.
Yeah. Did you see the participant list?
Yeah. So I make her a host, right?
Yeah, co-host.
Co-host. I'll make you a co-host. You want yes? So Joy, you should be able to share your screen right now if you click on that green thing at the bottom.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you for having me. I hope that I'll get out to Alberta soon. I'd love to meet with you in person and see what you're all doing out there. But in the meantime, I'd like to share a little bit of what we showed at CAST. So what I'm doing here today is a combination of sharing both what's new for 2023, but using pictures that we took at CAST, so it feels authentic. So you can see my screen now?
Yeah, we can, Joy, thank you.
Okay, so I am just going to same screen, just a sec here. Okay, oops, did I change my screen?
No, you're in your PowerPoint presentation now, so you're still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this was the view when you came in our displays. And so that's just what I wanted to open with. So it felt like you were entering CAST. So welcome to CAST, everybody. And some of our highlights, we had this nice little display with the California Dreaming sign. A lot of people had fun taking pictures there. You might have seen that in the social media. Durabella, that's our combination program, which I'll talk more about, but that was a huge focus for us at CAST. We had a lot of our commercial varieties, and then we had over 80 combos that we were trialing that we had people voting on. So you can see the tags here. We also had the opportunity there to show like the entire series or several in a series, not just what was new, and also to show like comparisons. So I felt like the plants really got to tell a story. It wasn't just a quick what's new, but we will of course focus on that. One of the things I particularly want to point out to our group tonight are some focus crops for cooler climates. And we'll see more photos of these, but our geranthemum, these are not all necessarily new, but I just want to highlight them again. Our geranthemum, our lollies series, we have James Britannias, Nemesias, Salvias, Biddens, Bacopa, Lobularia. All of those are things I would recommend in the prairies they can take the cold nights, they can take the hot days, and they'll be doing nicely for it. And of course, the most important thing was a chat about what's new. So this is a view down the side where we had our new things all set up. So the first thing it's pretty much alphabetical, my displays, my presentations, as opposed to the way we had it laid out at CAST, but I do have a lot of CAST photos. So the first thing I wanted to point out was Calibrachoa calibri. These are our compact series. They're very controlled growth. They will continue to grow. Unlike some that stay dwarf, these will continue to grow. They're suitable for quartz and hanging baskets, like a smaller hanging basket. 3 new colors this year was dark lavender, exotic red bling, and we use that term bling when we have this nice star pattern through the bloom, and calibri pure white. Here are some of the pictures from CAST of those 3 products. So that's the red bling. The dark lavender has kind of shades. It looks like a little bit like denim. It's not just one solid color, so you get this multicolor look.
The multicolored look, is that based on the age of the flower, or?
No, it just has several colors on the plant. And then the calibri pure white is an upgrade from our previous white, which was called Blizzard. And
Sorry, I'll turn that down.
And then the Blizzard, it's an upgrade from our Blizzard, which had like a yellow center. So this is just a cleaner white. These are just a few of the calibris. It's a full series. I just wanted to point it out that it's not just the 3 new ones. We have about 15 colors. These are some of the special colors in this series. In the iconic, we introduced the iconic apricot. This is one of the plants that we had at CAST. You can see a very nice deep ring. That's what the iconic stands for. It joins a series. Several other colors. The iconics are perfect for baskets. They make a medium to large basket, and they are really beautiful in combos because of that eye pattern. I personally have used a lot of these in our programs where I've worked previously. And our Leah Calibrachoa, which is also a basket type, but more of the basic line. The Leah yellow is improved for a better plant. So we were having trouble with some bacterial leaf spot, very sensitive to botrytis, very sensitive to mildew. So this is just a stronger, better quality plant. And again, this is one of the pictures from CAST. Our Leah series is, like I mentioned, our primary basket line. It's not huge. That's the complete Leah series that we have right now, 8 colors, including 1 bicolor. I wanted to mention Ombre series. We're not introducing something for 23. but I did want to highlight the ombre pink, which came out last year. You can see that the colors are multiple colors on one plant, which is why this one's really special. All of these have that multicolored look. This is ombre pink here as well. I don't know if my cursor is pointing to it. And also this, but this is in full sun, full heat in August at Rakers last summer. So you can see that it really brightens up as it gets hotter.
Joy,
Yes.
Anne has a question. How many plants are in the iconic pots on the display? How many plants per pot?
These?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not sure about this one because these were not from cast. This one here, that's just one side, but we put 3 plants in a 12-inch. Moving on to, this is a new product for us. We are offering our first hybrid Kufia. This is a really pretty little pollinator plant. This, it does have kind of a mounding trailing habit. You can see it, this is just a single pot that we had it cast. And here we have it in a combo. You can see it mounding up and then coming down over the side. It's a hybrid type, but it does have this little like cigarette type flower. So hence the name, like a cigar, a cubano, with the little white tip on the end. As I mentioned, it is nice for pollinators, but it's super early. These were only 12 weeks from planting and they were in full bloom. So that would be something that you would be able to have for your regular spring season. James Britannia, I just want to talk about this as a subject for a second. The older varieties that we used to have, you know, say 20 years ago, were very weak, very prone to damp off, powdery mildew, etc. This one has been bred in Israel, like Michelle mentioned at the beginning. It has, and because of that, it has a very robust structure. A lot of branching, very good root system, good heat tolerance, and surprisingly then, good cold tolerance because of that robust root system. So this series of James Britannias we have are called Stardoms. This year we introduced this white one called White Fusion. It was very pretty as a standalone, but I think it's going to be even better as a combination item. It could replace Bacopa for a high heat lover type program. And there's the 4 colors in the series: the white, gold star, pink, and purple. And lantana might not be a big item for you. I won't spend a long time talking about it. But if we do use lantana here in northern areas, I recommend highly the Gem. We also have another series called Gem Compact, and it just is too slow for our short growing season. So I would stick with the Gem. We introduced 2 new colors, the Citrine, which is like a multicolor orange scarlet, and then the Diva Pink, which is deeply and yellow. That was really pretty. These are bred to not go to seed as quickly, so they don't produce the berries and then go blank. You know, like a lot of lantanas just sort of go blank in the summer. So these keep on flowering. Lavenders, we introduced 2 new colors this year, this violet and this white frost. But I have to say the showstopper for me was this one. That's actually my picture from cast of the Grand Purple. Not new for us, but that bloom is truly huge. It's probably 8 or 9 centimeters tall, with these huge purple flags. It was just absolutely stunning. 12 weeks from planting, probably 5 weeks on the rooting, maybe 6 weeks on the rooting, 12 weeks to flower. Whereas these 2, the brand new ones, were still a little bit behind. They weren't quite in full flower, but this Grand Purple was. So I believe that that would be a very good option if you want one to get going and get blooming early for your market. Our lobularias, we have a lot of breeding in lobularias. You probably are using our products. The white stream and silver stream have been around for a long time. A lot of people are using them. But this year we introduced 2 new colors, violet and champagne. I pulled these pictures from something I took at CAST. I wanted to show that the violet is more compact and the champagne is a bit stringier, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it does offer a kind of a different color. It has like a creamy color, so it is nice in combos, especially with more vigorous products. And there's the full stream series, just as a reminder of what we have. The ends, I just like to point out they are not all consistent habit. They're more of a collection. So this slide shows the ones that are really compact. The new violet is here in the middle. And then these are the more vigorous ones. Michelle, how am I doing? Too fast, too slow, just about right?
You're doing fine. Carry on.
Okay. So Danziger has been known for many years for our impatiens breeding, both New Guineas and hybrid breeding. This Soluna is a hybrid, meaning it's crossed with an impatient that can take full sun. We named it Soluna to try to get the message through that it can take full sun to full shade. The other thing that's really cool about it as a hybrid, it can take more climate changes, dry down and bounce back, cooler nights, hotter days. It's just a more resilient plant than a straight New Guinea. So the other thing that's really important about this as compared to, say, sun patients, some patients are a beautiful product, but they're very vigorous. These are smaller. These are ideal for a 4-inch crop or even a 306 crop. Much easier to manage for a small format. However, I'll show you in this next slide, you can use them in the landscape. We had these planted out in Michigan last summer. They make a beautiful landscape bed. So it's not that, but they never get as big as sun patients, even as the sun patients compact. And then this was just the bench at CAST of all the Solunas lined up, which was really beautiful. They were nice in quarts and gallons and even 8-inch. The other product that's really quite breakthrough for us are our color fall. This is a true New Guinea. It's a Hawkerii, not a hybrid. But the color fall is a series that's been selected for coming around the basket. It does have a somewhat trailing habit, which is really beautiful as the plant continues to grow. You'll see the flowers displayed coming around the basket. So when you go hang it up, the flowers are more in your line of sight. Typically a New Guinea, when you grow a hanging basket, grows upwards. And then when you put it hanging up, you see stems as the plant matures. So this way, as you can see in these pictures here, this was like our display at CAST, the flowers are coming around. I wanted to point out that these are a 12-inch basket, 3 plants per pot, a total of 17 weeks from sticking to the week we were displaying them. So I think that you could do a very nice crop in a reasonable time. The key, though, always the key for New Guineas and the Solunas is the night temperatures, or actually the ADTs. So the average daily temperature does have to be above 21 to get them to flower. They just, the colder it is, the longer they take. There's the complete color fall series, including the new one, which I didn't get a good cast shot of, the dark leaf red. And that one is really special because it does have a really deep leaf and a bright red flower. You can see here, these are in like a moss basket. I think they'd be really beautiful in a big format basket. So this petunia here, it was a big conversation out there at CAST. If you pick up one thing, I would say pick up Remarkable. It is a premium basket item, more vigorous, but not terribly wild. But it definitely counts on it being in a larger container. But what is remarkable about it is that big, wide white pickety edge around the purple color. We decided not to put this into a series. It doesn't particularly match a series, but it is more like our Cascadias in habit, but it has a bigger bloom and a wider white band. So that's why we set it apart in what we call our red carpet collection. When we have something that's really special, it stands alone in the red carpets. Cascadias are our signature series in petunias. We've had those since day one in North America. These are two improvements, the rim cherry improved, rim violet improved. A lot of people know us for the rims and for the Cascadias, and especially the rims with this nice little pickety edge. These are improved by having flowers all the way across the top. The older varieties tended to bloom out on the end of the stems, but this blooms all the way across. So you get a really beautiful color display, also earlier to bloom. Our Cascadias do have a more vigorous habit. They're ideal for premium baskets. You can grow them in a smaller container, but then you would have to use more PGR. We have a lot of colors in Cascadias. This is still only a few of them, but they are some of our special ones. They are, and these are all like the very bicolors, multicolor flowers, and bestsellers. Capella is what I call our workhorse series. This is the one that where I've worked previously. We used it in quartz, hanging baskets, combinations, planters. It's medium, compact to medium habit, controlled growth, lots and lots of color, very early. So many varieties to choose from. I think we have 19 now in the series. These were all new or improved. So mulberry was our new color, like a deep wine color. Indigo, ruby red, and white are all improved. The indigo and white are improved to match the series better. They were a little too vigorous before. And the ruby red is a flower color improvement because the former one tended to streak and get white bleached out places on it. Here's some of our best sellers in Capella. I really want to point out, especially this top row. They, like I said, they are workhorses. We sell hundreds of thousands of these because they are such good plants, easy to grow, easy to work with. They also, these are some of the photos of them at the display and cast. You can see very uniform series. There's the Hello Yellow that you guys did so well with in your trials last year. These are some of the pink shades we have. And these were some of the combinations we put together. At this point in the conversation, I just wanted to show how well the Capellas work in combo with Calibrachoas and Verbenas in our series. These all were made with just 3 plants per pot, 1 of each component. And those are 12-inch hanging baskets. Again, 12 weeks from when we planted them. Splash Dance is our line of speckled petunias, or I guess that's what you'd call them, speckled and striped. So they're not completely stable. I don't know of any on the market that are completely stable, but these have been selected for the best stability. Calypso Cherry is cherry with a bit of a yellowish color, whereas these others have more of a white speckle. So we introduced Cherry, Rubber Rose, Moonwalk, and Violet Vogue. The Violet Vogue is more vigorous, as are our older genetics. The older ones like Bolero Blue and Magenta Mumbo, those were quite large. Where these newer ones, you can actually see the difference right here. These are all grown in the same size pot. These are more manageable habits, more like our Capella, where the Violet Vogue is more like our Cascadias. Just a few more pictures of the same items. This one's a combination of some of the older ones. And then this is a combination with Nemesia. Again, these are just these pictures here, like when you see them in sort of different formats, they're ones we had from cast that I'm sharing with you. These are also our cast photos. This was at the very beginning of our lineup. It stopped everybody talked about it. So this is our Salvia farinaceus Sally Fun series, Blue Lagoon. And at first, when I first started with them and they said they had another Blue Lagoon, I was like, oh my gosh, why do we need another blue salvia? But this one is so impressive. It was a good week to 10 days ahead of our earliest blue. The bloom size was bigger. The stems were sturdy. The basket, you could take it and shake it, and it did not collapse, like fall apart or fall open. Just a really fantastic display of bright blue. And if you're not familiar with Sally Fun series, we really recommend it over using a seed farinacea because they'll all bloom in sync with each other, and you ship them all at once, and they're earlier than seed items, as well as bigger blooms. They're a pollinator plant. They're easy for the gardener. They're kind of a foolproof type plant for beginners. We're really enjoying using the Sally Funds in our mixes. So this picture right here to the left is the Blue Lagoon at the beginning of the displays. And then these are two of the combos, the pure white. And then this was our older one, Deep Ocean. But they made they're beautiful in centerpieces for combos. I would highly recommend, if you've been using Deep Ocean, I would switch to Blue Lagoon just because it's so much earlier and more showy. Vanessa verbenas. So I want to take a little time to talk about Vanessas as a subject. These are really very amazing verbena series. We have Vanessa and Vanessa Compact. Both of them are controlled. I just call one Vanessa mounding and one Vanessa trailing, just to make it a little, because they are both controlled. The Vanessa would be more of a trailing habit. But the story here is that they keep pushing up blooms. Typically, older verbenas would bloom and like flush and then go green and then rest. And you would lose that component in a combo for a period of time. So if your market was late or you didn't get your timing just perfect, your verbenas could be green when you go to ship your combo. The story with Vanessa is they keep pushing up blooms, so you always have that color show. And I saw that while we were out there I was out there for 10 days and they never stopped. Just like new flowers, and flowers going by and then covering their dead, putting up more new flowers. So it was just a constant show, always new buds, always new blooms. In the Vanessa, and the other, of course, is the selection for mildew tolerance. They don't get into the series unless they have both of those components, the continuous flowering and the mildew tolerance. So in the Vanessa, what I call trailing, but it's just called Vanessa, we introduced this optic grape with this beautiful white eye and lavender color. It was a model plant, like absolutely the perfect shape and size. And in the compacts, or the more mounding types, we introduced Bordeaux and Rosa. So we are seeing the compacts being used widely for 4-inch or quart programs. They are really taking off in certain areas, just replacing what's been out there on the market for some time because they're so early and easy to grow in 4-inch. The Vanessa series has now all of these colors. This bicolor indigo is marketed under the PW brand as well. So this one's that's one nice one to keep your eye on. And then the compacts, we have a lot of colors. If anyone wants a little help with selecting out of the series, I could help you, pick some of the strongest ones or best sellers. These are some combos made with the Vanessas. Just wanted to highlight how lovely they are in conjunction with the Capellas. This one's actually with a little Tunia. And then this shows the Vanessa and Vanessa Compact, just a little bit smaller habit there on the compacts. Then I just wanted to bring up what I mentioned earlier, just some of the crops that I think would be very important for you to look at for your area. The Lolly Argyranthemum, Michelle, I think you picked that up this year. I hope those are doing nicely for you.
We did. Is there any lollies? Is there any that are a little, taller? We chose some of the ones and 3 colors: buttermint, white chocolate, and
Pink Pez.
pink. Yeah. No. We picked up berry gummy.
Very
No,
gummy.
yeah.
I saw all of these together at Cast, and I would say the marshmallow might have been slightly taller, but they're really well-matched series of the lollies. We have a lot of other Argyranthemum, but just highlighting the lollies as for a quart or 2-quart program. These are very consistent in habit and bloom time.
Okay.
The other thing that is a really wonderful underutilized plant are Nemesia. Again, like I mentioned about the James Britannia, these have been bred in Israel, so they have a very robust root system and robust branching, very good heat and cold tolerance, very strong fragrance, so they're really nice for the pollinator gardens, and lots of fun colors. They're really nice mixed in combos or as a standalone crop. And I have seen these blooming all the way through August in Ontario, so they do have a lot of heat tolerance as well.
And they bloom long into the fall, right?
Then the bloom, yes, they will bloom again in the fall, yes. Yeah. This was introduced in 22, this series. Well, actually, they completed the series in 22. We have 4 colors now in the compact Scopia Gulliver Bacopas. So these all exhibit the large flowers of our Gullivers, but a compact habit for 4-inch, less PGR, less mixing of the branches together if you grow a pot-type crop. So very showy. They will continue to grow afterward. They don't stay terribly small. They will stay smaller than Gulliver, but they will also have better heat tolerance than some of the older genetics. And I couldn't talk about Danziger without talking about Amore. Hopefully everybody still loves Amore because it is our best-selling product. The Queen of Hearts is the single largest sales item for us in our entire program. But I love King of Hearts for Canada and Pink Hearts, just a perfect Mother's Day color. By the way, I didn't say that at the beginning, I meant to. Happy Mother's Day a day late to all the moms on the call. Just going back a second to Amore, if you haven't heard the message, it's 5 hearts on every flower. Every petal has a heart, very distinctive. They really select and make sure that that's a stable pattern. And so it will keep that pattern. Medium habit, nice for 4-inch, gallons, baskets, combos, of course. Osticade is one of our osteo series. This one's a little bit more trailing. It comes around the side of the pot. Very pretty. The Daybreak has certainly been getting some attention with that multicolored flower color. And there are several other colors in the Osticades. You can see how they come around the rim of the pot. Probably the best sellers are this purple and the Daybreak and the yellow. This Scaevola, I've always thought of Scaevola as a heat lover. Also, I've always thought of it as late to bloom, but this Indigo Touch absolutely knocks my socks off. It's blooming in the greenhouse under the coldest nights. And like we have them here in our little greenhouse. We're just keeping the heat just above freezing. And these are blooming and growing strong. And then they bloom, of course, they love the heat. They're absolutely bulletproof in the heat. They're one of those no-brainer type plants, but that Indigo Touch is something to take a look at. That color is just really intense. The flowers bloom all the way down the spike, so it's not just out on the end of the branch, and you get this really saturated blue ball of color. And Durabella, I mentioned earlier about our combo program. We've been working on putting fewer plants per basket. All the ones we grew for the trials, 12-inch basket had just one plant of each component. So even if it was a 2-plant mix, there were just 2 plants in that basket, or if it's a 3-plant mix, there were 3. You plant them in the center. We stick them in individual cells, but then we plant them together in the center so that they intermingle as they grow outward. The result is, of course, a little bit lower input costs for you as growers, but also better, it holds up better at retail and for the consumer, less water, less competition for the nutrients. Just as a general subject, I wanted to tell you a couple things about our supply. Our farm is in Guatemala. We offer unrooted cuttings out of there. In addition to our genetics, we offer a lot of what I call no-name brands, like your Vinca, your Lismachia, Strobilanthes, a lot of perennials. We have very flexible ordering guidelines. We are the latest in Canada for allowing people to add to orders. You can order all the way through Friday for the next week. You can make changes and cancellations up through Tuesday on an existing order, but you can order through Friday if you need new product. So that's a way that, you know, if you had any new opportunities, you wanted to be able to grab something quickly, you ended up Wonder of Wonders with a little extra space and wanted to put some more plants in, you had a loss in shipping, you can get those replacements booked and they would come in the next week. We also have low minimum order, just 2,000 unrooted cuttings. And as I mentioned, in addition to our genetics, we have no-name brands. We also carry the Sun Patience for Cicada and the Super Cows. So we do have other people's genetics on our farm as well. We also let you combine annuals and perennials in the same box. And like I mentioned, they all ship from Guatemala. So Megan, I did not just do the perennials today because I thought we would talk about that as a separate subject. So that's what I had for today. Looks like there's some things in the chat.
Yes, there is. I was kind of typing some questions as we went. Thank you very much, Joy, for this presentation. And if you look on your screen, you see Debbie Foisey's icon there. Do you see it? Yep. Yeah, that's Hello Yellow.
Yes, I am familiar with that one from Instagram. Thank you, Debbie, for the publicity on that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that did really well.
Okay, so we answered the iconics. We added the yellow to the lineup. It was
we
the
did.
that bloomed. Oh, that would be
that was me. That was me. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, we added that one. It was the only one that bloomed in July, and we see that the flowers on that one are much bigger than most of the Bacopas, because it's kind of like, for who's not familiar with James Britannica, it's kind of a Bacopa type of plant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Indian summer. Michelle, we've had this. You asked me this. We do not have an improvement on it. It is sensitive to cold temperatures. So if it's getting chilled in transit, I believe that's why there would be issues in your propagation, because it does have that that sensitivity to cold temperatures. Hello Yellow was great. that one's the exception to the yellow rule. It acts more almost like a green petunia. You know, green petunias are really robust.
Yeah, it's a little bit more, the branches are a little bit more spread, like it's not as dense,
Okay.
but the intensity of the yellow is phenomenal.
We had it all, we had them all there at CAST, and I was very pleased to see how consistent they were in habit. The hello yellow bloom size might have been a touch smaller, but even still, it was pretty nice. Don't have to deadhead the Ribena, no. Well, I did some because we had some show plants, you know, but they do continue to push up and cover their dead. Yeah. Oh, Megan answered that one. Okay.
Trying to help you out.
Thank you. Daybreak is gorgeous. I agree. Yeah. Would anyone else like to ask me anything? Okay.
Oh, there's a plant entering the room. So what is that one there, Joy? Enlighten us.
So my husband just brought this in from our greenhouse. I don't know. Trying to give you a little more light on it. That's indigo touch.
Wow.
I don't know. Can you see it? Or,
Yeah, it's a really nice blue color.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just, these are only 5 weeks old. And like I said, we just keep the greenhouse warm enough not to freeze at night. And it's cold still here in Ontario, unfortunately. So very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions for Joy? Do you guys like? I mean, we carry some of the Danziger genetics. Is there other companies that carry the Danziger genetics as rooted material? Because I think there'll be some people on the call that might want to buy rooted as well.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to let Megan speak to that because she'd be the one that would help you connect with that.
You got her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually have a bunch of suppliers that supply into Alberta. The biggest supplier of most rooting for Danziger would be Devon. Second would be Meadowlands. And we just recently, which is super, super exciting, we're gonna start selling a little bit of rooted material through DeVry in Alberta. So as the portfolio grows and as the supply chain management continues, we're gonna start working with other growers to try to make products more accessible and freight more reasonable. So
also Linwell, which imagine the freight would be a little higher, but Linwell is an option for availability.
Yeah, for more. Linwell is out of Ontario.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, but and the ones that Megan mentioned are all out of BC.
Yeah, except for DeVry. DeVry is going to hopefully within the next couple of years have rooting liners available, and that will be in Alberta.
Oh, okay.
So that would be really good for all of you guys out there.
Also Luray.
Who?
Luray.
Oh, Luray. Luray has some stuff, yeah.
Yeah. She's selling rooted as well.
It's actually kind of a question I have for your guys' group. Is that your biggest challenge being in Alberta right now with the cold, product not being tempered correctly for your climate, the supply chain, the trucks?
Well, if somebody has a comment, just unmute yourself and you know, maybe give Megan some more insights about Alberta.
Because that at Express, that's one of my biggest jobs is supply chain management. So if you have a concern or a problem, or you have something that's just really grinding you over the last couple of years, it's my job to work with the breeders to bring that to market for our customers. So if you think of anything, or if you want to email me independently and say, hey, I really would like to see these products, but I can't seem to find them anywhere in Canada, I can help connect the dots with that portion.
So if you want to type in your email address when you get a chance, Megan, and the same with you, Joy, in the chat, put your email address. This session is going to be available on YouTube in a couple of days. So if people rewatch it, then they will be able to pick it up if they don't catch it quick enough here. So
I forgot to tell you something really fun.
Tell us.
I'm going to share a link to the folder of all our experimental combos. that we did at CAST. Like I have pictures of all of them. And then you can have a look, see, and let me know. They are numbered, so you can tell me which numbers you like, and you can be part of the selection process.
Okay. Are you going to share that with us right now?
I'm going to send it in an email to you afterward, if that's okay. Also,
Fine.
I was thinking I could send you the link in a WeTransfer file. I'll send you the presentation I made in case there's people who didn't make it or who want to review anything.
That'd be awesome, Joy. Let's do that, and then I'll forward it probably with WeTransfer to the people in the what we call the Greenhouse Marketing Forum, which is a closed group that most of us belong to, and then I'll get Mirza to send it to the AGGA members, and then we'll see what the feedback is. That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
That'd be fun.
Okay. All right, so am I signing off then?
Yeah, Joyce, thank you very much. In case you need to go and we're discussing other things, thank you so much for your presentation and your your good explanation on the varieties. And we hope to see you in Alberta sometime soon.
Absolutely, sounds like a plan.
Good.
Okay, thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Joy.
All right, bye-bye.
So next on is Megan. Megan is with Express Seed Company. Express Seed Company is a company out of Oberlin, Ohio, is where head office is. But we have a Canadian representative and several actually. Mike Chow heads it up in British Columbia. We have Casey Grundy, we have Megan. We probably have a few other people that we don't know, but most of them will be dealing with Casey and you, Megan. Is that correct?
Yes. So Express Seed Company was started in Canada roughly 9 years ago. We're going on our 10th year. We were asked by the larger growers in Canada to start coming to Canada and be a brokerage firm to add competition and to add new genetics. So since then, our team has grown now. We have Mike is the head of Canada, and then myself and Rob Van Steldoen in Ontario are the two senior sales reps for East and West. And then underneath us, funny enough, we have Joy's husband, David Keeler, the gentleman who walked in the back there, and he is the junior sales associate for Ontario. We have a new lady starting out there, hopefully this fall. And then we also have hopefully 2 people starting in the next month out here in BC to join us, along with Casey.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I come from a little bit different of a background, probably more relatable to a lot of you on this call. I grew up in horticulture. I have done everything from put plants in pots to build greenhouses to fix machines, being a head grower. I was a head grower for 18 years between a bunch of different companies. To name a few, I worked for Bevo, APCO, West Coast. I worked for Proven Winners for a few years in marketing. Canadian Valley, I've worked for DeVry and Rainbow. I've kind of jumped around everywhere until I find my footing, and I've now been at Express for 9 years. So
good. So, and you were at CAST with the rest of the crew from Express?
I was at CAST. So CAST was a little different. The Express team, we have about 70 salespeople plus management. So you're looking at about 120 people. We rented a whole bunch of different cars this year and last year, and we traveled independently in groups of 6 to 8. And then customers joined us either in our cars or in their own cars and followed us along. Just different COVID comfortable, environment for everybody. It was very different. We usually do a big bus. We did like the smaller groups. It was nice that we all got kind of to work on our own schedule. If there was more we wanted to see at a stop, we could stay longer. If there was something we didn't want to see, we could leave. Or if there was something that came up along the way where we wanted to go to a trial garden or look at some other location, we could easily do that with the smaller groups. It also was really, really nice because you got to have one-on-one time with different people in different cars. So overall, it was a really good experience. CAS was definitely more welcoming this year. Everybody was sort of back into the full swing. Everybody was happy to see everybody, and a lot more Canadians. Last year, there was maybe half a dozen Canadians. This year, I almost seen most of the regulars and a few new faces. So
Awesome.
It was very nice.
Yeah. So, so as a representative with the Express Seat Company, you were able to travel to the different venues along the coast. Somebody like Joy would be pretty much stuck at the, not stuck, but be receiving people at the Danziger location. You know, but you got to see it
Yes.
all, where probably she wouldn't have seen as many different breeding companies or venues.
Yes, I went to every single stop. I have thousands and thousands of pictures. I just selected sort of some things that caught my attention, things that definitely make a difference for us being Canadian in the supply chain. I only chose products that we can get. There's a lot of products that when you go to cast, you get silly questions like, do you live in an igloo? do you have snow 9 months of the year? Do you ever have warm temperature? Like, we get asked a lot of really silly questions at cast being Canadian. So when I go down as a Canadian sales rep, I'm always looking for something that makes a difference for us, making sure we can get it, because if we can't get it, we can't sell it. And something that we're going to be supported from our vendors on, because if we don't have the support, we don't have the supply chain, we're dead in the water before we start. So I have some pictures for you guys.
Okay,
And
I will make you a co-host. I could have done this earlier, but okay.
Feel free to fire questions at me. If I don't know the answer, I'll find someone who does for you.
Right. Okay, Megan, you should be able to share now.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Okay. Let's make it bigger for you. Can you see that?
We sure can. Thank you.
So at cast, most of the things I took a picture of were just the things that caught my attention. So West Off, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Some of this stuff is not brand new, but it's new to us, or it's not as big in the market as it could be. The West Off has this beautiful Mayan sunset petunia, mostly for quartz and baskets. But if you notice on the plant, it actually gets two tones, and especially in Canada. So in the California bright light, this gets more of this peachy tone, but in Canada, you see the lighter flowers within the plant. There'll be more of those in Canada. So it looks like it's almost like a 2-for-1. So this plant to me is interesting, especially for independent garden centers or designing your own combos. Peach is definitely a very popular color this year. So Mayan Sunset from West Off. West Off is known for crazy tunias. So I don't know if you could tell from this picture, but West Off is definitely breeding out the crazy. So it's still an eclectic collection of petunias, but you can see the habits are tightening up. The flowers are staying on top. There's no more splits in the middle, and you get unique patterns and colors that you're not going to find anywhere else. So they definitely are crazy tunias, but you'll get a lot of eclectic variety from West Off. The other thing that I really love from West Off is that they have a lot of colors that used to be in PW. And for smaller growers, you know, we're always looking for our costs. So like if you see this white and black one in the back there, that one's great for a substitution for a proven winners variety that would cost you 22 cents in royalty. So I think West Off is a really good place to look for making your own combos at a really high price value for your consumer, and hopefully make back a little bit more money for yourself. Westhoff also has these beautiful fancy fillers, it's called. It's a whole series of just greeneries and different items. They're not new, but this adds a lot of value. Also in these fancy fillers, there's a lot of cold hardy ones. So you would get some bounce back in retail if it was to get cold or rain or sleet or snow or heat. There's a lot of options here to choose from. A lot of customers this year I found were having a lot of difficulty in rooting begonias. The begonia supply chain was pretty poor. The cuttings were soft, a lot of botrytis. Westhoff has this cherry mahogany, and on the left is cast, so it's not as colorful and you don't quite see the leaf color yet. But on the right is a sample pot in the middle of July in Ontario at the Savoya Trials. So I do feel like this is kind of a hidden gem. So I'm continuing to watch Westhoff on their begonias, because I think some of their replacements are adding a lot of value and are very good cuttings. So I think this is a must-have. You can tell me what you think, but I really like it. I don't know if you guys seen this last year. It's an exclusive this year for Jolly Farmer, the Rift Blue Lobelia. It is bred from the hot water series, so it has the heat tolerance, it has the flower size, it has a really good habit, but you can see the flowers are sort of like fireworks. In the US, everybody's looking for the red, white, and blue combo for Memorial Day. So this blue speckled lobelia is great for those combos. It kind of adds a fireworks potential to some of the planters and baskets. But if you see this one over here this year, I would definitely give it a try. They're awesome. Great lobelia. Westhoff also, with their crazy petunias, they have some pretty crazy Calibrachoa. They have this new Calitastic tricolor pink on the top left. It's sort of 3 colors in one, gives a really big, deep dimension. Great for independent pots or really jazzy combos. They are still doing the chameleons. The tart deco and the blueberry stone have been improved. You can see it in the habit, flowers on top. There's no hole in the center, kind of a 2-for-1. Chameleons used to be under Duman because they sold the rights to them, and then that faded and now it's open. So you can actually get chameleon from Verheul as well. And you can also get it through the Duman line. So depending on your price or your source or you're filling a box, definitely look to Westhoff to get some more variety. And then they came out with this really deep red fuchsia Dracula Calitastic for baskets. It's gorgeous. The picture does not do it justice. It's definitely one of those plants where you look across the room and that's the one you see. So any end cap sale or upgrade, this is a good product to try.
What did you say that one on the right was?
Dracula. It's a Calitastic Dracula. Yeah. And it's gorgeous. It kind of has a little bit of a shimmer to it, but the throat is really, really deep and the outside is just really red, really big blooms. Awesome plant. So Greenfuse also had this really interesting dianthus, and dianthus is good for us in Alberta because it's cold hardy, but this is one plant. If you see this picture down the bottom, it has about 6 different colors. The petals are actually bicolor. They're almost scratched like a cut flower. It's really interesting that they're coming out with sort of these potpourri type dianthus, because you put one plant per pot and you get to look like you have 6 different colors in one pot. So I thought that this was really interesting for early sales. Greenfuse liners we can get out of Eris, or we can get cuttings out of Verheul. Beacon Camp. So Beacon Camp is a very European supplier. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Beacon Camp that much.
Not that much, no.
Beacon Camp really came into North America only about 6 years ago. So their flagship, they're also a broker in Europe. So they grow for a lot of other people, but they also have their own genetics. And they have this line of dahlias. They're perfect for a 10-inch pot, 1 plant per pot. Majority they're called, and they're basically just these really florific, tight dahlias. But the one great thing about them is they get multiple flowers at once, and the tuber in the pot is not too big. So if the pot dries out, or you cook it on a flood floor, or it dries out too much at retail, you don't actually get that shock and lose your plant. So for a Canadian product to hold up at retail or anywhere, it's sturdy. They're very, very sturdy. It's a newer market and newer breeding into North America, so it is fairly new. You're not going to find it everywhere. And some of these bicolors are just really cool and sharp. So this is definitely one I would pick for Alberta. Alberta, Saskatchewan, the prairies. There's Casey behind there, if you guys know Casey. Beacon Camp has tea petunias. So tea petunias is their version of basically a garden petunia, or a deco petunia if you were to compare it to Syngenta. But there's a few really unique colors. There's this new indigo vein, this purple, and this flamingo to the left. There's also the breeder that actually bred these is from Germany. So he's very used to cold temperatures. So when you look at the plant, it has very lanceolate leaves. They're not very fuzzy. It sheds the water pretty good. And it does just keep growing and burying its dead without breaking. So for a Canadian petunia, it's a very good choice. It's a different choice. Not everybody would have it. But it has a very good supply chain behind it. The cuttings are produced at Beacon Camp and at Vivero, but just a great kind of filler, different petunia. They also have a few colors that are very comparable to some of the Proven Winners colors, but they keep a little bit tighter of a habit. Begonias. So Beacon Camp is also one of the leading producers in the world for begonias. I am very biased on begonias. My family only grows begonias. My family grows begonias for a living. We've always grown begonias for a living. We grew begonias in Holland before we immigrated, and we still grow them to this day. We are 4th generation begonia growers. We are Beacon Camp house account people. We are very happy with Beacon Camp supply chain, the cutting size, the disease indexing, and they have all these really beautiful sharp colors. Plants are tight, don't need more growth regulators, and the flowers tend to stay on top. So if you're looking for some different begonias that will stand up and be hardy, Beacon Camp has a whole lineup that they can help you with. Some great sharp colors. The other thing that's great to know is they also carry Silenias, and Silenias is your high heat, full sun begonia. And then they also have the whole line of shade begonias. So you can get the best of both worlds from the same supplier. If you're looking for people that root them, Clearview Horticulture roots them, ships to Alberta, and so does Meadowlands. Celosia, they have a huge line of Celosia, great for fall, all different sharp colors. They look great in 3-color, tricolor pots or individual standalones. You can also get Celosia cuttings now from Danzinger. So great cuttings. They're not pre-budded, very vegetative, easy to grow, 16 weeks. You can do a perfect 6-inch or a quart, no problem. Beacon Camp also has a ton of dahlias. They have a dahlia for every size pot and every color that you'd ever imagine. Being bred in Africa, they do tend to have a little bit more heat tolerance. So if you're having any kind of shock, or when a begonia dies, like right at the end of your crop, Beacon Camp might be a really good option for you. You guys have any questions?
I put some in the chat, so we'll deal
I
with them
didn't
later.
see it. Okay.
Okay, no, you can't see it from there, but that's okay. We'll deal with it later.
Yell out as you go. Cool wave pansies at Pan Am. Everybody is familiar with the cool waves. The display at Pan Am this year was incredible as usual. These guys set the bar high. It's just gorgeous. Every size pot, every size container, all different colors. If you're not growing cool waves, you probably all are. So it's a great early season for baskets or planters.
It's a good crop for the prairies.
Yes, wonderful. There was some new colors they improved. So the sorbet red is just this deep, rich. It's very nice. The picture almost doesn't do it justice against the stone, but it's very clear, very bright. The cool wave blue improvement is gorgeous. And then I actually seen this little combo that was hidden on the side of the pathway. I took a picture of it because I thought that would be kind of a cool concept for Canada. It's nice and tight and frost hardy. Pan Am also has been displaying their kitchen minis a lot. I was sort of torn on kitchen minis when they first started because I didn't really see the point. But now I'm really seeing a boost in people liking this product. They really do want fruit on a plant in their kitchen. If this is upgraded into like a really nice ceramic or deco pot, you can get a fairly decent price in retail for this product. And I don't know, there's just something about it. They really like it. But I think that if you just grow it as a normal vegetable, you're almost targeting the wrong audience. It's better to target someone who might buy an orchid or might buy a violet. Well, try this too. This would be great for your kitchen. So something to think about. These are a new Solarscape. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet, but they are a sun patient from seed, basically. So Pan Am is the first person who has bred anything in this category. And the one thing is that the series is brand new. So you can see within the series that the fuchsia is a little bit more compact. The white's a little bit more vigorous, orange a little bit more vigorous. There is 5 colors to begin with. So there's enough to fill packs. But if you see here on the left, Felicia's holding the fuchsia and they work great in packs. So 1 plant per cell in a 306. The cost did come out on this after cast, so I'll warn you, it was not cheap. So it is the first, it's the only seed comparable sun patient, but it's an interesting concept. So definitely something to try this year from Pan Am.
Did the Pan Am also say what the germination would be like? Because we've seen Calabacoa from seed and, you know, they're just kind of, shoveling them under the rug.
Yes, I asked that question. A lot of us asked that question because we got burnt pretty bad with the kabloom. It was not a secret. It's pretty good coming out of the gate. I think it's the high 90s. I have not received seed in the packet yet. So we'll have to just wait and see. But so far, so good. They say it's good. I have not had any growers that I work with who have actually seeded it yet. So I'll have to let you know that one.
Please.
This red lark delphinium from Darwin is a must have. This thing is so cool. Do you see the color in the picture there? They're like 2-foot flowers and they are so bright and being double. They're gorgeous. You could put this in a container or you could sell it maybe as an upgrade perennial for cut flowers, but it is beautiful. This product is going to sell out very, very quickly, but it is a great addition. I've never seen orange or peach in this tone ever from anyone. So this is a really cool plant. I think you could sell it for a pretty premium price too, just because of what it is. So if you're looking for something totally new in your perennials, I would definitely pick up this Darwin item.
What zone is it?
It's a zone 3, zone 4. So it's the same as the rest of the delphiniums. But it is very, very new. So we don't know how it will overwinter in the prairies yet, but I would give it a shot. The Russian sage has an improvement, and you can see I took a picture of the old plant that they released a couple of years ago, the blue steel, and then I took a picture of the new blue set on the left, and you can clearly see it's just a phenomenal upgrade for quartz. Russian sage is an awesome landscape plant. It's very successful. So if you were going to add a Russian sage, I would highly recommend this one. It's a great improvement. Benari. So we went to Benari and I was a little surprised because they're definitely pushing cut flowers. Cut flowers, cut flowers, cut flowers. They had a whole area dedicated to cut flowers. I do feel that there's about a 20% increase in smaller garden centers now selling cut flowers or having you pick your own garden. So Benari had a huge lineup of all these different items. I don't know, a few years ago, if you guys remember, the Joey was released. The only thing about Joey is it likes the heat. So this is more like a July, August into September item that you could sell in your facility, but it's multifunctional. So Joey is the little sister and Matilda is the big sister. So now there's two options. So maybe the Matilda could actually be grown in Canada because it's a lot more aggressive, but then we could also, maybe our consumer could use it as a cut flower as well.
So again, is the Matilda also a heat-loving plant? The same as
It
Joey?
is. They both are. They both are. So it's more a season extender, summer heat lover, that type of item for us.
Same category as a Lysianthus, likes heat.
Yes. Yeah. Later in the season.
Okay.
But I do, you see in these pictures, they had this huge wedding display and people just loved it. So maybe it's something you could sell in the summer to kind of some people doing weddings, different things. I just took this picture for you. It's the Benari field trial. So if you're ever in California, this stays outside planted until end of October. So you can go anytime that you're in California, you can schedule an appointment with Benari just outside of Gilroy, and you can visit and walk this trial. So if you guys ever go on summer vacation or whatever, pop into Benari and make a quick appointment. So, and this is the other half. They do also do a grow pack trial. So they grow every single item that they sell for spring color. So that all the violas, all the pansies, all the bellis, everything. It was beautiful.
So you're saying that they're focusing more on cut flowers, but yet they haven't dropped the pack items either.
No, they haven't dropped anything. So they're outside. This is outside the trial. And then inside they had a bunch of pot crops, and then half of that area was dedicated to herbs and cut flowers. So huge array of stuff this year. The nonstops, I know we all know nonstops are, but these were some pretty perfect nonstops. So I also took a picture of them because I was sort of grilling them about the claims and credits on poor germ. So I was comparing these plants to a couple of years ago, but they are just gorgeous. I had to take a picture.
They're only showing you the ones that did grow,
Yeah, they are. So cicada. Cicada definitely reined in their presentation this year. I think everybody in general cleaned it up. They weren't too showy. It was just the product. So you see their displays, they're just plain, simple. There wasn't a whole lot in the greenhouse besides what they were showcasing. But they added this Viking Explorer Rose on Green. The Viking series of begonia from seed are fantastic. The flowers, if you see, they're like multi-clustered and they sort of sit on top. They don't tendril down as much. So some of the other genetics on the market, they sort of do the grow straight out and then the flower pulls them down. These ones stay a little tighter with the flowers on top. So it's a good addition. Cicada, of course, is famous for their super cow. They added this premium sunset orange. So they had it in this nice fall display. This is something that's new, but also still something that you could still add for this year if you wanted it. It's available out of Vivero, and it's just really nice. I liked it. Some patients, Cicada is famous for their some patients. They have been doing some breeding to improve the plants so they're less sticky. They added 2 new colors, or improved 2 more colors, the rose glow and the hot pink. So here they are right here. I think welcome additions. Pink's top seller, so you can have some more. And then this is another display I took. Cicada does some very plain combos, but very matched and unique. So if you're ever looking for kind of some inspiration, I always think Cicada is a very good place to look on their website or any of their trial gardens. Sometimes less is more and simple is better. So there's some examples of that. Syngenta. So at Syngenta, there was a huge Think Plants display outside on the lawn, and then inside was all the pot crops and annuals. We did schedule you guys Think Plants for a presentation on the 23rd.
That's right. Will you be, before I forget to ask, will you be joining us then too that night?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
I can. I'm always available. Yeah. So they did a wonderful job. I don't want to tell you everything that Think Plants had, but Think Plants is just a great supply chain. All the cuttings are produced at Danziger, Guatemala. So you can get Open Genetics, Syngenta, Danziger, Terra Nova. Now you can get the Keef color grasses are added. There's some hydrangeas that are added. The list just keeps growing and growing and growing. So it's a great one-stop shop. Also, the most important part is the supply chain. It is not available. It's available in Guatemala, so it's domestic supply to us. It's not coming from Colombia, so you're not going to get soft, mushy, frozen cuttings. So, yeah. This new Lithidora Tide Pole Sky Blue, it is from Syngenta. We sell a lot of Lithidora in Canada, but this is so bright. So if you're looking for an upgrade to your Lithidora, I would highly recommend just switching right over.
This is also from Syngenta?
This is from Syngenta, yeah. So this is available at Danziger though, because it's under the Think Plant lineup.
How do you think Lithidora does in Western Canada?
I think it does okay.
Is it all right? Like we have the cool nights, you know, like, and I don't know if Lithidora really likes that.
It's a little later, but it does good. There's
Okay.
not a ton of bright blue for you to sell in your garden center, especially like late spring. You got Primula, maybe some Campanula, but the Lithidora is a great addition.
I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm just trying
No, go for
to,
it.
you know, like
That's what I'm here for. Bloom Champion. So there's a lot of hydrangeas on the market right now. Everybody's breeding a hydrangea. Bloom Champion is Belgian breeding that Creekside in Ontario is producing. It is a reflowering hydrangea. So basically this program is a pre-finish. So Creekside does all the work for you. They produce it into the size you want. You get your dormant hydrangea and then you flower it and sell it. Because this is a 2-year crop. So they will do the first 1.5 years for you and then you just finish and ship.
Now, is this something, a hydrangea you would do for Easter, or is this a garden hydrangea?
Yes, you can do for Easter or Mother's Day. So it's a pot crop hydrangea. The other thing that's great with these Bloom Champions is they bloom earlier and they're more controllable. So we will in the next year, we're working towards having hydrangeas available for Valentine's Day as well. Everyone has always wanted a pot crop hydrangea for Valentine's Day. So this will be some of the first series you'll see in that new market. So these are cool. And if you see just bottom left, there's a plant here that's red and white. So you can also order these pre-finished in 3 Sisters. So you can order them already done for you in a pre-finished with a red, a white, and a blue in the same container, and then finish it and sell a premium tricolor pot. There's the Bloom Champions on the left. Calla's from Captain Calla from Capitine. Beautiful display, huge bulbs. They're a great supplier. They sell out fast, but they're awesome. And then Salvia Dark Matter from Danziger is the new Salvia. That replaces your May Night or April Night. It's just a really deep, beautiful blue on a very compact chassis. It's upgrade, definitely an upgrade.
About the Callas, we got a sample last year from Casey, and you're not kidding. That was best Callas I've ever seen, and beautiful colors. But the minimums are so high. Is there something Express can do, where more of us can share? You know, some of these.
Yes. So Captain Calla is also a new product that we brought to North America. So it took a little bit to get more growers on. Once the high volume guys in the US started ordering, then we started getting more sea containers into the Port of Michigan. We're actually starting to bring in sea containers now into the Port of Montreal, so we could ship from there. It is a $250 per variety minimum, but if you would like to try them, we can get you a trial order. And what we would do is we would order them to Green Circle, and then we would get them in that cooler, and then we'll split the orders from there and FedEx them out to customers. So it is doable now.
So a sample order, could you order a sample order each year then? You know, for most garden centers, that might be big enough. And how many is a sample order?
The sample order is 25 units of every color.
Okay.
You can pick how many colors you want. So if it's a fall, you know, we can help you pick the best fall colors or the best spring colors. I do recommend kind of trying to keep your order to a crate, because no matter what you do, you're going to fill a FedEx box. So you're going to pay $100, right? 250, 300 units. Okay.
In a crate is 250 to 300 units.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the growers might want to get together with their neighbors, you know, and like you might other things, you know, to split it.
Yeah, no, I totally would recommend it, and they're great to grow. They're programmable. Callas, it's all about the eyes, so every shoot will get a flower. The other thing that's really cool with Callas is Callas are bred from cut Callas, and these are bred backwards to just keep being more compact, but still be florific like cut flowers, but also retain that shelf life of the original cut flower Calla. So like some of these plants, they'll start flowering after 9 weeks, but on the shelf, you can have that Calla on your kitchen table for 6 to 8 weeks after that. So I do think it's important to remember that when pricing these within your center, the longevity is closer to like an orchid or a high-end product. So depending on how you're selling it.
Are you going to cultivate this year?
Yes.
We should have a discussion. Somebody brought up an idea that would there be an option for HiQ to bring in a bunch like it, and then you loot that like you're doing at Green Circle and distribute them from here? How are these things licensed?
Yeah, we could do that. We just have to we do consolidated freight, so like a skid or whatever, and then bring it up and then just put separate customer POs within that order and just do consolidated freight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, or we could buy them in bulk, so many of each color, and then say, you know, how many do you want? This year, though, the colors and the number of bulbs available for North America, that availability came out really late.
Yes, it did. We also at Express, because we're one of the bigger people who purchase this, we pre-purchase like a bulk number, and then we can pull from that number. So even if you see the availability is posted online, it might not actually be what's available because we already pre-purchased 2 years in advance. So it is best to ask your sales rep, what do you got? What's the best for me? Here's my pot size. This is what I want to sell them for. What would you recommend? And then let us help you work the schedule backwards.
And you better be sitting down when you're looking at the bulk price, because they don't give them away.
Yes, they're not cheap.
No,
They're not cheap.
So watch out. It's a premium item. But Beth, thank you for the idea. I'll pursue this further with Express.
Yeah, it'd be great. Syngenta. So Syngenta also cleaned up their presentations and their warehouse for the show. It was very clean, very organized, and they just showed what was new. I really liked it because you didn't get you kind of mixed up on the old. You knew what was new, you knew where you were going, and you could see the series. So they have this new Calliope large orange. Beautiful plant, really hard to take a picture of, but it's definitely orange. Caldera Lavender Glow. So this is your replacement for your ivy geraniums. The biggest difference with Caldera is they don't get rust on the leaves. So they don't get those hard, crunchy corners and sides. No edema in this plant. And it wasn't in full color because it was still cold at cast, but you can see the flowers have all different colors on each stem. So they do look more like a confetti ivy geranium filler. They look like little sparklers, actually. If you put them in your containers, they remind me of sparklers. Sanguna Mega from Syngenta. So this thing had blooms that were almost as big as my hand. I really, really liked it. The only thing as a grower, the first thing I looked at it and went, what happens when the consumer or the garden center waters it? They have not answered my question yet. It is so new. So just keep in mind, everybody, it's a beautiful plant, huge blooms, very unique. Like that thing would sell like crazy. But if it were me and I was growing this, I would put it on drippers, would not overhead water it, and I would not display it outside, especially in Alberta and the prairies. But gorgeous addition, gorgeous addition. The shortcakes. This is not a new product, but this shortcake petunia from Syngenta, you can stand on that thing. You could put it upside down and it would hold itself up. It is super, super strong. So it has smaller flowers, but a ton of them. Has a very unique color, very unique design, but it has really small leaves on still a very dense plant. And it doesn't get botrytis. It stays compact. It doesn't get weedy and crazy, but it is super, super weather tolerant. So first was the blueberry, the bottom one. Now they came out with the raspberry, which is the top red one. Great plant. Highly recommend it for you guys. The Fun House. So this is like the eclectic crazy tunias from Syngenta. Fun House change colors with different temperatures, different pHs. If you growth regulate them, you get different colors on each plant. They're just kind of a one-off, something different you're not going to see anywhere else. Zydeco. So they came up with a new zinnia. This is Zydeco. So if you're familiar with Magellan, these are smaller than Magellan. It's like Magellan's little sister. So you can put them in smaller, like 10-inch containers. You could put them in 306 packs. You could do landscape planting, just a newer, tighter, smaller version of a zinnia. Calibrachoa. Syngenta makes really nice Calibrachoa. It's kind of always been a staple. Everybody knows about it. They're coming out with the different colors. Cabrio's tighter. You know, just don't forget about the Calibrachoa at Syngenta. Everybody kind of comes out with the flashy new, here's the impressive Calibrachoa, and then you sort of forget about the bread and butter. These are bread and butters. These are what carry you through the whole season. So don't forget about that. High series hydrangeas. This is the hydrangea breeding from Syngenta. They also reflower. They're short, squatty with thick stems. They're a pot hydrangea, and these are for selling for Easter or Mother's Day, but they do reflower. You can plant them outside, but they'll never be as good as they were inside. But just something to watch for, and you don't have to ring them. So like the traditional hydrangeas right now, like if you go into Costco this week and you look at them, they're just flopping all over, they're ringed. These you will not have to ring. They are that strong.
This again is a a potted hydrangea, not a garden hydrangea.
This is a potted hydrangea.
Yeah.
You see this high mountain pink on the left? That seriously is how many flowers this plant will get. Like, it is incredible. So they are a little bit within the series. Some get more flowers and some get less, but as an overall series, they're super, super impressive. So I would watch for this one. You can also buy this as a pre-finished from Creekside in Ontario and have it shipped out and then finish it yourself. Or you can get a cutting and do your own cuttings and your own cooling direct from Syngenta. Spectra. So Spectra is the New Guinea impatient from Syngenta. It's 2 years old. I don't know if you guys have tried it yet, but the flowers are definitely on top of the foliage and very close to the foliage. The foliage is dense and it makes a very tight, neat, showy plant. So it's like an improvement, has a little bit of sonic blood in it, a little bit of New Guinea blood, but it can be sun or shade. They have some nice colors. It's new though, pretty new, 2 years. Top Hat. Top Hat is your seeded begonia from Syngenta. Huge, huge flowers. They also have rose bicolor, which is 4th on the shelf there, but they're just showing the regular colors. Big, big flowers, great for 10-inch baskets, something you can seed yourself, do yourself. The germ is good, very florific. So I thought I'd end with this one because it's a low input cost, but can make you really good money because it's very showy. So hopefully some of these suggestions you guys like.
That's awesome, Megan. Thank you very much. I started typing some questions. So
I see that.
Yeah, I'll just go through them. Let's see here. So you're saying that you're talking about the bulb, this dahlia. I'm guessing it's a URC, but you're still talking about the bulb. So does it form a corm or rhizome later in the season?
They still do. The beacon cap dahlias will still form a tuber. It's not like a huge aggressive tuber that will break the pot or like that you could dig up and replant, but it will produce a little bit of a tuber inside the pot. But because the tuber isn't as big and it has some heat tolerance, the plants don't just, I don't know why, but dahlias they don't like the soil being too warm. So if you're growing dahlias in pots and you have them on flood floors, you'll have a beautiful, beautiful crop. Then the temperatures will start rising and then all of a sudden you'll just have plants dead randomly. It's the tuber shock.
Over the last couple of years, we've had, especially on the prairies, we've had some people talk to us about growing dahlias, and the other thing that and I don't know if it's like with this dahlia is you have to have a long enough day because otherwise it thinks it's fall. So if you buy your dahlias too early, your rooted cuttings, no matter what series it is, if it's City Light or Delia or any of the other ones, if you buy it too early, you have to light it, or otherwise it'll do like Megan says, it'll just die on you, come mid-spring.
It's awful. I have Ontario growers that are huge, huge growers, and they will not have a dahlia in their facility because it just doesn't work. So
the celosia, that you mentioned, is it a spring item, not a fall item like Dragon's Breath?
No, you can do it for both. You can do it for spring or you can do it for fall. You can also do it for pot crop or for bedding crop. Like someone like Burnaby Lake, they actually sell kilo celosia in a 4-inch for their retail almost year round. They do light them for the long days, but as long as you have long enough days or a little bit of lights, you can grow them for whatever time you want. You can position them for pot crop, centers, fall. Even they look really cool for Chinese New Year. They also look really cool for like Easter, because they get kind of crazy pastel plumy colors for Easter.
So there's quite a color range available from these celosias.
Yes.
You could pick the oranges for the fall and the pinks for the spring.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's 2 types. There's the atomic, which are more the spiky, and then there's the kilos, which are more the feather plumy, bigger flower.
So they have to be timed for the different times of the year.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you do that? You time them with light, length, daylight, day length?
Day length, yes.
Day length. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be another discussion. How much light does a kitchen mini tomato need, is what Hannah asks.
You know what? I'd have to look it up exactly because they're all different. But I just ordered some for a fall program and they time out pretty quickly. 16 weeks, 16 to 18 weeks for a pot.
No, how much light? Like if you have this kitchen mini tomato in your kitchen window, you know how.
Oh, like same, like just on the windowsill is fine. You don't have to have crazy lights, or like if you're worried about going into the fall or winter, it'll be fine.
Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Anne. What is the zone on the red delphinium is what Vanessa's asking.
I'm gonna have to look it up and let you guys know, because that one's so new that I don't even have a culture sheet for it yet.
So Megan, I included you and Joy and Mike to what we call the Greenhouse Forum.
Okay.
So yeah, you can reply to that, you know, if you want, and then we should see it. And then
Okay.
we'll ask our friend Debbie to add you guys to the group. And then you can share things with us.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
Okay.
And then someone asked about the celosia for fall. Is it cold hardy? It's not cold hardy, unfortunately. It can go into mid-October, but as soon as you get that hard frost, it's done.
Okay. So you and I will have a discussion during the product info is what Louise is saying. She'll definitely watching the YouTube. HiQ could sell the bulb. So you and I are going to have a discussion with the powers to be at Cultivate about the Cala bulbs, because
Okay.
I have to tell you, that is a phenomenal series. Like I've never seen anything like it. You know, that was really a great trial last year. So you were talking about how these breeders have tightened up their displays. Like what were they like before? If this is tightened up.
It was honestly, Cass was really showy, like really showy. There was tons of plants, tons of planters, lots of advertising, lots of marketing dollars. I think COVID really made everybody step back and like really tighten up. Like if it's too busy, you can't see the plant material. And if you put, like, you know, as customers, we want to go there and see it in a plug tray. We want to see it in a 4-inch, 6-inch, 10-inch basket combo. Like that's all we want to see. We don't want to see it all decoed up in some weird planter that we're never going to sell.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, they definitely now just show rows of the plants, and it's becoming more of like a trial garden or trial show, opposed to just marketing everywhere.
So it's come full circle, because the cast used to be called the California Pack Trials, you know, where they showed pansies in 6-packs everywhere.
Yeah, it's like when I was a little kid and I went with my parents to pack trials every year, we walked around actual trial beds. We went to greenhouses where they planted out every single kind of verbena right beside each other. There really is not that very much anymore. There's Rakers trials in Michigan. They do a lot of comparison trials. Young's Gully does a trial as well. The closest to here that's probably a true trial where you can see everything would be at Smith Gardens in Washington State.
Do you guys make your way out to Sawaya, to Simcoe?
Yes, so I am the person who organizes the Savoya trials for all of my breeders. So yes, we go. It is July 21st. If anybody's interested in going, it's an open event. It's all day. And if you're going to OFA, it's actually this week, it's on the way home. So you, rather than going to two separate events, you could just hit it on the way home and save yourself a flight. So,
Last year they Mel did, you know, like where it was a longer period of time. Is it now again only one day, July 21?
it's one day of open house, and then all the box stores have their individual days for their own stuff. And then anytime between 1st of July to August 8th, you can make an independent appointment if you're out there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So how does the Celosia handle cold nights?
It's fine in cold nights, just nothing below crazy freezing. So like 6 to 8 degrees, roughly.
Okay. Okay. Does that answer your question? Michelle, does that answer your question? You know, that's okay, good. That answers all the questions while I was answering my phone. We have an alarm.
If anybody needs culture sheets or, you know, grow time schedules, anything like that, feel free to just email me and I can send it exactly what you need.
Good. Well, Megan, thank you very much. This was very, very cool how you were able to go to the different breeding companies and you know, show us a little bit of everything. Now, if as I understand it, CAST is not only the new releases for 23 in this particular case. Some of this is a little bit further out. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so we call it Y1, Y2, Y3. So basically 1 year out, 2 year out, 3 year out. Most 3 year out product is not shown to the general public. We go behind closed doors to see that. Y2 stuff would be what you would see next spring. A lot of growers do showcase it, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to be on the market. It's just maybe. A lot of the exclusives from the other companies, that's when what you pick from is Y2. So the cool part about my job is I get to go to all these presentations, but I also am one of the people that are cleared to go in the back room of all the breeders. So I actually go in the back room and look for products for certain customers or certain brokerage firms.
Good. So in 2 weeks, when we reconvene, then we will have somebody here from Think Plants. Megan, tell us a little bit about Think Plants to kind of do an infomercial for the next greenhouse chat.
The next one, so Joey Wiseman is the head of Think Plants. Joey started her career as a grower as well. Then she worked for Terra Nova and Monrovia. She is a perennial guru, like she loves perennials, it's her passion. She's actually one of the 3 people who really disrupted the market by saying that we needed domestic supply for perennials. And it's her conversation that started the ability for us to produce perennials from multiple breeders in Guatemala. So she also is helping choose the varieties. And a lot of her job is presenting the perennials to the market, both to the big box and the little box. And she does a lot of the strategic stuff behind who they're going to add and who they're not. So like if there's a really cool breeder of Dianthus, for example, out of Australia and New Zealand, he did not have a platform to bring his product to North America. So Joey facilitates that through Think Plants. So he's a part of Think Plants. And then, so it's like a big co-op of passionate people who are bringing perennials to the market, but they're bringing them together to keep the input costs down from a good supply chain.
Well, that says it all. Hopefully we'll see you again too, Megan, in 2 weeks, and then we will be posting that a couple days before, but you do owe me the email address yet, please. If you can email me that, maybe you have, but maybe
I did one. I can do it again.
Would you mind?
Yeah,
Would
I
you
can
mind?
do it again.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
also have a huge file of photos. I just showed you guys kind of what I like to cast, some of the highlights. I really didn't have time to show you everything. It takes me 5 days to go through all of that stuff. So I can send you guys a Google Dropbox with all the photos.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, just let me know.
So Megan's put her address, her email address in the chat. So if you would like, more pictures, email her direct, rather than you sending it to me and then me distributing it. So whoever's interested, email Megan direct and stay in touch with her. Again, Megan, thank you very much for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
You have a great night.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye. Mirza, you had a few slides you wanted to share.
Do you, the way the time is running out, why don't we just go to your quiz and I could do my next time?
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You asked me to briefly touch on fungus gnats and shore flies.
Yeah.
We have not seen a huge outbreak in fungus gnats and shore flies, and that is basically because it hasn't been very warm. So if you think that you have your shore fly and fungus gnat population under control, you're probably right. But the second that it's going to get warm, which normally happens in March or April, might not now happen till May. But hopefully it'll be short-lived, because shore flies and fungus gnats do make their way outside when we start ventilating, when they don't need to be in there anymore. But be on the lookout for them and be diligent, that they don't get out of control. The picture I showed was from a customer that sent it to me. Do you want me to share it again, or has everybody seen it?
You just share it. I did see Michael.
Okay, there we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I zoomed in. So I'll zoom out. This is the plant, and this is what's happening now this time of the year. And this is botrytis, and this are some plant parts that are fallen on soil. So and like I said earlier, it's not going to be easy to keep air movement on these plants, because all of our greenhouses are packed tight. It is cooler than normal, so the foliage doesn't dry up as quick, and these things you have to really be on the watch for. And Mirza, you said earlier that this is a fungus that doesn't attach to the soil, but it does affect the rest of the plant, and because it can grow on the stems of plants, just not on the soil.
And there was I think Anne pointed out that would baking soda work? No, baking soda only works on powdery mildew. Powdery mildew spores, the white specks on different plants. When you spray baking soda or potassium bicarbonate or Milstop, it makes the surface alkaline, and then the spores cannot germinate. So it doesn't affect botrytis, but hydrogen peroxide, zero tolerance, there are many registered products as well. But at this stage, is not going to work. So we just need to remove them gently, especially the dead material, which is right here. So we just need to remove them and then spray. You could use a protector spray on the plants if the inoculum is very high. So there are some products which you could spray on the plant if it's get out of hand. Primarily, it is a disease of high humidity, condensation, cooler night temperature, free water sitting on them. So water your plants maximum around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, but earlier is better. So basically, high humidity, condensation, we need to avoid on them.
Yeah, and as the weather starts to improve, and as you start selling some plants, you probably are going to get a little bit more space, and some of this will kind of go away on its own.
Right. And on the fungus gnat, I will dwell next time as well, but quickly, algae is one of the biggest problem on floor or leaky pipes or on the surface of the your old trays of begonias, which have been there for a long time. That's where fungus gnat love their dead algae. That's where they lay their eggs as well. So you have to control your algae as well if a fungus gnat is a big issue. And then we could always use yellow sticky traps, the big one. We just hundred of thousands of them could be trapped, and you could remove them inside of spraying with some chemical.
Yeah, no, the yellow sticky traps are definitely a good tool. Yeah. Okay, well, it's 8:54. Yeah, we had some interesting speakers. I'm going to stop sharing. Get rid of this. Okay.
Michael, always
Yes.
appreciate finding these people, Megan and others. Really, that's very nice of you to get them. Very interesting materials, new plant material coming out, and the way to grow them. Very nice that you have all those connections to do that.
Thank you. Well, thank you everybody for the day after Mother's Day for being here. Maybe give us a thumbs up if Mother's Day was good this past weekend, or unmute for a minute and just tell us a little bit about Mother's Day, how it went. And Jeff says it was a great day. He has a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So hopefully it was like that for everybody. And the season is a bit late in Alberta. And probably Saskatchewan too, but just hang in there. It will happen, and because we have lots of weekends left. So Gail is asking when the recording will be available. I missed most of this evening. Gail, Mirza will put it on YouTube, and
tomorrow it should be available tomorrow.
And do they go to the AGGA website, Mirza, to look at the YouTube channel?
At this time, we're not, but all of them are being recorded on that YouTube link. So they will be posted on the AGGA website.
Okay, but the older ones are the ones from today will be too?
On that one YouTube channel, you find all the up till now, whatever we have, all the chats are there, and we plan to put the bedding plots workshop as well.
I see.
Just that one channel, and you see all the other recordings as well.
Okay, but that's on the AGGA website or not yet?
Yeah, I have not sent them, but we will do that.
Okay, good. So Arlene is saying, enjoyed my day, no customers. Arlene is a mom. And Loretta said, I was a lot busier than expected due to the weather, and which is great because of the cooler weather, people hoard it to the inside, So, and Beth said, record breaking, a constant lineup all day. That is awesome,
Really?
Beth. That is awesome. Yep. Beth expanded her greenhouse, so she's probably happy to see more customers. Well, thanks everybody again.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Yeah. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And if there's any questions, let us know that we can post, or Dr. Mirza is always available for AGGA members. If you have any questions, send him a picture or something. So,
all right, take care everybody, and again, Michael, good host. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and hopefully you got your grandson off to Australia.
Yes, absolutely. We just came from the airport, so very excited to see starting at Bond University doing his law degree. So that's very nice. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks,
All right.
Mirza. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.